So, Russell, I've got another Trews report for you.
Yeah, go on, what is it?
It is about the Poor Door protests that happen every Wednesday outside number 1 Commercial Street, not far from where we're sitting right at the moment, actually.
Number 2 Commercial Street. What is a poor door?
A poor door, in this instance, what it is a separate entrance at this apartment building. It's a luxury apartment building, but to get planning permission, they have to include a certain percentage of what they call socially rented properties that are rented, in this case, through a housing association. The people that live in the socially rented properties, they can't go in through the lovely front door with the crystal chandeliers and the concierge. They have to go down this kind of urine stinking alleyway with litter and enter through a dark doorway around the back of the building.
And what, may I ask, John, is the problem with that? That there is an economic apartheid happening here on the streets of London.
So you can probably hear that drumming, cacophonous noise. And the reason that people are protesting out the front of this building here, this is number 1 Commercial Street on the edge of the City of London, where the City of London meets the East End. And this building here, the apartments in this building sell for about 2-3 million, £4 million, but they've got a certain amount of socially rented apartments here. But the people in those socially rented flats, they can't use the front door, the posh entrance. They have to come down this dark alleyway here and use a little door over there. It's kind of medieval.
They're not allowed to go through the main entrance. They've got to skulk in like lepers, just around the corner, in a dangerous alleyway inhabited by rats and junkies. That's what they think of us. That's what we're fit for. And that's why we're here. And that's why we'll be coming back week after week until they change that policy and people can all walk through the same door. This is not Alabama in the 1950s. This is not India 2,000 years ago, where the Dalit had to throw themselves on the ground in case their shadow contaminated the Brahmin. That's the sort of mentality they have here. A complete and absolute feudal mentality.
They're actually banned in New York, these buildings. Mayor Bloomberg, a Republican mayor, will not have them in New York, yet we've got them here in... A Republican mayor in the most capitalist city in the world will not have them.
Wait a minute. I mean, it's sort of like the ultimate in social class segregation in London.
Even inside the building, they segregate them within the building.
So they're using different corridors, so you'll never run into a poor person in your building. But they're there. In a way, it's a sort of a microcosm of what's happening all over society. I often think, why don't I have more homeless people live in my house?
Yeah, why don't you?
Selfishness.
And you did try it once, didn't you?
I did try it once, and we had a bath together and it didn't go well, but he cracked before I did. Homeless James wanted to leave me and go back to being homeless before I wanted to let him leave my house, so in a way I won.
It's unbelievable. In fact, some of the people who lived in here didn't even know it was happening until we told them.
Yeah, how have they reacted?
Well, some of them have been like a bit cute, but some of them have been like, oh my god, I really didn't know, that's dreadful, but they still live here, so you know what you got to do.
I mean, the first few weeks here, it's quite interesting because posh people are pouring wee out the windows onto us.
Yeah.
They piss on the floor.
That's why we send them here now.
This is some of the litter in the alley. 2 cans of Lil and 1 stray flip-flop. I'm always more troubled when I see 1 discarded shoe than when I see a pair.
Yeah, so we have had some of the people from the social housing join us on a couple of weeks, which has been quite encouraging. Yeah, and we had the imam from a local mosque came down one week, and E15 mums.
So whilst I was stood there by the Poor Door, or what we're calling the Poor Door, I met one of the social housing tenants who uses that door. It makes me feel bad calling it the Poor Door when you speak to someone who actually lives there. And he said he has no problem with having to use a separate entrance. He likes living in the building, he gets on well with everyone else that lives there, and he said he didn't really understand what the protests were actually about, while people were coming down every week to protest. He actually looked a bit bemused by it all.
They're building bodies like this, approved by Boris Johnson and the ghastly Gideon Osborne, Bullingdon boy.
And you come down here every week?
Every week, yeah.
Yeah, this is the 15th week.
What will be next? Segregated pavements, segregated schools, or absolutely tired of it? Say no to segregation, say no to social cleansing, and come back here with us week after week, because we're not going away.